Good evening, good evening, good evening, you all. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual disclaimers, the reason why the camera is not on is because I had to turn the backlight lamp on. It like completely obscures my face, and I really don't have any real professional lighting to speak of. So that's why you're not seeing my image there at the bottom of the screen as you normally would. All right. But first, the usual disclaimers, folks. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The Dutch Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article. Share on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, just in case the JRC ever actually do see through with their threat. Sorry, allergies. Alright, folks, trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please make sure to utilize your headphones. Trigger warning 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised. Alright, where we left off. Indeed, this ban is much more akin to the cases cited by the commenter, where the court found that the live cross-examination was not required. Excuse me, in layman's terms, this is not a civil case nor a criminal case. It is a discussion in regards to a ban. No guilt is being imparted to any party, nor is past wrongs being held against anyone. Therefore, what would need to be cross-examined here? It's evidence versus evidence. That's it and that's all. For example, because the government proceeding was a general fact-finding investigation, not an accusatory proceeding, that would be unduly burdened by trial-like proceedings, Hannah versus Larch, or because of the information critical to the decision, such as a physician's conclusions and other information from medical sources, is more effectively and efficiently communicated through, it says print page, written than oral presentation. In other words, this is a fact-finding mission. We want to look at evidence. We do allow during those type of proceedings for survivor and witness testimony to come forward, but only in the context in regards to the ban of this specific device. It is not covering anything else. Matthew versus Eldridge. The same holds true here. Key evidence underlying this ban is most effectively provided in written form, in particular the medical and scientific literature. This is where the current medical and scientific literature regards to the alternative treatments in regards to SIB and AB, also known as the standard of care provided by literally the entirety of the rest of the medical model, came into play here. The fact of the matter is, what the JRC does is not considered state of the art anywhere, nor is it referred to in any way, shape, or form as any part of the current standard of care as we know it. They are literally the only people who use it. Because they're the only people who use it, explain to me like I'm 5 why I'm supposed to therefore give it a title such as standard of care or the gold standard. You can't. Okay? You legitimately can't. The problem is here the JRC plays victim every time they can't answer questions. They do it as a means to dodge, they do it as a means to confuse, and the repetitiveness of their comments is done to wear their enemies down. The FDA is very much not having it here. The FDA has already considered live testimony from over a dozen experts in the field and a wide variety of interested stakeholders with different views on the issues at its panel meeting, and little value would be added by a full or informal evidentiary hearing or live cross-examination. In other words, doing a cross-examination is not going to change the facts as have been presented in the medical and scientific literature reviewed by the FDA. They are not going to gain anything or take anything away from it. The evidence speaks for itself. Okay? Kind of hard to deny cold, hard facts. I know most of this planet, for whatever reason that escapes me, seems to want to do that these days. But I like to live in this place called reality. It's a cold, dark place, but facts matter. They matter more than your feelings. All right? There's no reason for a cross examination because this is not a civil or a court case. It is fact finding. So, what matters here is facts and evidence. The evidence that the JRC put forward was no evidence at all. The papers in support of their insanity are so outdated as to be ruled absolutely ridiculous. The clinical study that they put forward, that they cobbled together themselves, does not fit the current standard in regards to how clinical studies are actually conducted literally everywhere else. They don't have a leg to stand on. They are not addressing any of the FDA's questions or challenges. It's just the repeated, but nothing else works. Okay, you have not yet addressed the fact that you are not doing, not your version of a full functional behavioral assessment, but the one that is the state standard for Massachusetts. You have not answered that, but it's the only thing that works out. Not gonna cut it. Requiring such would be a huge burden on the agency with little, if any, benefit. Exactly. It's cut and dry here. Okay? This is not a case that imparts guilt. It is about this specific device, and does it meet the requirements in regards to a ban by having the risks of harm or injury? The answer is yes. The JRC has no evidence to show the contrary, whereas our evidence has evidence. It's that simple. Cut and dry. Exactly how is a cross-examination going to make anything better for the JRC? I would say it would probably make it worse. We're going to go ahead and close on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please, if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time this evening. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. And yes, the next video is going to have you seeing my pretty face again because at the end of the day, I'm pretty good at masking it being neurotypical light, but I do need my sameness. All right, what everyone, have a good one. I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye bye now.